All right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And in today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I think that the MMORPG space in general gets wrong, and that is loot drops. Now, the reason I wanted to do a video on this is a few months ago, Ashes of Creation posed a question on their forums asking the community about their thoughts on loot drops. Do they like potentially spending a lot of time getting something for a higher reward? And I have a pretty strong opinion on this, and I wanted to kind of talk about it. I wanted to provide my opinion and just kind of point out, in my humble ass opinion, where the MMORPG space as a whole gets this kind of wrong, and the direction I think that they could head to allow players, like show players that they value their fucking time, because I think a lot of them get it wrong. So with that being said, let's dive into it. Now, I think you can look at time spent and the reward as a graph, right? I know we're already talking about graphs 1 minute into this video. This is just a barn burner. But my point is on the lower left side, at the lower left side of the graph, you have minimal effort, minimal reward. On the upper right hand of the graph, you have high effort, high reward. Now, this makes a lot of sense, right? The harder you work towards something, the harder something is, the better the reward should be. And as MMORPG players as a whole, we are all okay with grinding. We all actually enjoy the grind. We love advancing our characters. We love eking out those 1% to 2% advantages. And we will do those things because we like to see our character powerful in whatever game space we are in.
So it's really trying to make sure that everyone here, guys, we're totally heterosexual. Let's choose a female character with big tits. That's us, man. We're such a BDO main that we love big titted anime girls. Yeah. Who needs story? It's all about that grind. I'm on that Sigma grind. Look at me. I like to grind. Ooh, I'm so good at grinding.
And so there have been plenty of good game loops that I have played in where the grind, the effort put in was worth the reward, in my opinion, for a lot of reasons. One of them that comes to mind is when I played The Elder Scrolls Online a few years ago and I was doing Veteran Maelstrom Arena. There was one specific weapon I wanted for PvP. It was by far the best in slot weapon, and it was a tough farm. It was really tough to do. This was back when you could not transmute, or you couldn't change the trait on the weapon, so you had to not only farm for that specific weapon, you had to farm for that specific trait. So I spent about 10 hours a week for about 6 months farming this weapon before I eventually got it. And then a month later they nerfed it and it was useless. So it was a huge waste of my time in hindsight, of course, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed the grind because at that point in time when we were around 300 champion points, doing Veteran Maelstrom Arena was a challenge. It was really challenging to do. It took for me, on a new character, it's starting out, it was the first time I did it, took 8 hours to do it once. You couldn't save it, and towards the end it was taking me 40-50 minutes and I got a lot better, but it was just rewarding to constantly play the arena on different classes and learn how to play in different ways and complete it. And the challenge was fun enough to where even though the reward wasn't there for a very long time, it was still fun to do. I was getting all sorts of other things. I was rewarding myself with the challenge itself of the different titles that you could get while doing it. That was a good one. A bad one that I have recently done is in New World. They came out with these artifacts, and some of these artifacts only come out when a dungeon, or in New World it's called an expedition, when an expedition is mutated. Now they have about 10 to 12 dungeons in New World. 2 of them, and I think now they've updated to like 3 dungeons or 3 expeditions that get mutated, but at the time it was 2. You could get 2 mutated dungeons per week, and you would have a week to farm for that specific artifact. If you did not get it in that time period, it would then rotate through the other dungeons or expeditions. We're just going to call them expeditions because that's what they are from now on. But I'm trying to connect everybody together in the space, guys. Okay, take it easy on me. But the point is if you missed that window, that week-long window, to farm that expedition, you would have to then wait 5 or 6 weeks for the next one to pop up and do again. The other thing that they did is they would put a cap on the amount of times you could farm the expedition. And I can't remember if it was 30 or 35, it was somewhere around there, but that many runs in a week meant that you couldn't run it anymore, you were capped out. And so there were people that would farm this expedition and they would not get it due to RNG, and they would then have to wait. And it wasn't that these expeditions were difficult, not even the mutated ones. It was actually very easy to do. But essentially the development team slapped a low RNG chance on easy to finish content. And that is just the antithesis of what the graph should be. If you have a powerful item, you don't hide it behind something easy. I don't think this is the right way to do it. And so it feels like a waste of time. The reason I say this is you want something to be challenging. You want the gameplay to be fun. When you're mind-numbingly just doing the same easy thing over and over and over again for a chance at a very rewarding or valuable item, to me, it feels like the development team doesn't value your time as a player. They're basically saying, hey, we know that this is good. We made something that's really powerful. We know that you're going to have to get this. And instead of putting it behind new and interesting content, we're going to put it behind content that's a couple years old. That's really easy to do, but it's going to get you to go back and do it. And we're going to have a bell graph for how long it's going to take people to do. And we're going to assign an RNG chance to make sure that you're going to spend 10, 20 hours in there. We're just going to do that. And so, yeah, you've already done this content. You did it years ago already, but you're going to do it again because you want this item. And it's fucking pointless. It sucks, guys. Like that grind for that type of weapon or that type of item is pointless. Now, that's just one example. I could go into many, many more, but we would be here for 30 minutes. If you guys want to, just comment in the comment section below types of RNG chance items that you've experienced that are similar to what I'm talking about. But yeah, going back to the bell graph, now we're talking about two different graphs. We have to also understand this as well. Some people, when you just needlessly put a lower RNG chance on an item, what this means is some people will run really well. They'll have very good RNG. They will get it in the first couple of runs. Everybody else hates them, right? Most people fall under the average amount, whether it's 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, whatever, the development team decides that you're going to waste your time pointlessly doing, that they're going to have that. But then you have some people that are just going to have really, really shitty RNG. It's unfortunate.
You don't want to be
something
like
that would take a couple of hours for them.
Disgusting.
For you, maybe it takes 5 hours on average. It's going to take them
I
50.
would.
There's just there's a few people that are going to fall under this umbrella of this bell graph. It's not many, but there's some. And this is the shitty part about this type of RNG chance is you're assigning this valuable item to this really low chance, and you're basically telling some people in your community, yes, some of you guys are going to get really burnt out farming this. You're going to get really burnt out farming this, and you're never going to get it. And we've designed this item in a way that is so powerful that you're going to need it to do other content. And so you get these players that almost feel like they're stuck in a loop. Like, hey, I want to compete. In order to compete, I need this item. In order to get this item, I need to farm this fucking thing that I've been doing for 30 hours already. And they get burnt out, like anybody would, doing the same easy content over and over and over again. And so my summation on this is games, MMORPG loot drops should be a lot more like games like the example I was talking about with the Elder Scrolls Online. If you're going to have a challenging low RNG drop, make sure that the content to complete it is worth doing. It's fun to do. So if you're going to say, hey, you're going to have to spend 6 months in this in order to get a weapon, make sure the content is fun enough to get 6 months of enjoyment out of it. If you're going to assign 10 hours, make sure you get 10 hours of enjoyment out of it. Look at Elden Ring, for instance. Elden Ring is obviously not an MMORPG, but you get guaranteed loot drops on beating the boss. The challenge is actually completing the content. When you complete the content, you get the 100% drop rate. Now, I am not claiming that MMORPGs should be like Elden Ring and have this ridiculously high skill gap in order to complete this content. But what I am saying is don't assign some of the most powerful weapons in the game to killing fucking rats, to picking flowers, to going back and doing an hour-long dungeon 30 plus times. This is not good content. This is, like I said before, wasting players' times. That's why a lot of games right now are dying, I think. I think a lot of players realize that, yes, grinds can be fun. A lot of the current ones are very lazy and, done poorly. And so that's my opinion. I'm going to end this video here. If you guys have any questions or comments, please provide it in the section below and I will do my best to answer it. We'll talk about more graphs on the next video. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.